Welcome back to Fox and Friends. As busloads of migrants continue to arrive in New York City, Mayor Eric Adams is opening refugee-style tent cities and reportedly begging the federal government for $500 million to deal with the surge. The mayor ripping Republican governors in the process, saying, quote, "Now more than ever, it's clear that we are again dealing with a humanitarian crisis created by human hands, while other leaders have abdicated their moral duty to support arriving asylum seekers. New York City refuses to do so." Here to react is New York City Councilman Joe Borelli. Welcome, Joe. Listen, I can understand the frustration of the people who live in that neighborhood. I've seen some of the things that they've had to say. I wouldn't want this tent city in my neighborhood park, but haven't the border states, for example, bore more than their share of the burden? I mean, shouldn't this be shared?
It's certainly unfair to blame the border states, saying they didn't shoulder enough of this burden, when for years after years, whether it's people seeking asylum or people coming here just completely illegally, they have shouldered the majority of the brunt of this problem. And if anything underscores the fact that it really is a problem, it's the fact that we're now setting up tent cities on beaches in New York City, something we do when there's a hurricane or a flood or an earthquake or something like that. We are responding as though it is a natural disaster. We're even looking at a cruise ship to house some of these folks. So this is a real problem, and now Democrats
are genuinely looking at cruise ships as a potential solution.
Sure, it's one of the options.
It's on the table.
Maybe even one of the more reasonable options. We have no idea when this is going to stop, how many people will come. I think the real story here is how this still was not an issue until these Republican governors brought these folks to big blue cities like New York. They brought them to liberal enclaves where everyone has a coexist bumper sticker on their Subaru. Suddenly, it became a real crisis.
Yeah, suddenly they didn't want to coexist with the illegal immigrants. So this district, by the way, is AOC's district. And by the way, this district has voted disproportionately, I mean, massively for Democrats, for Joe Biden's policy. So poetic justice in this? It
is poetic justice, and she shares a lot of the blame, right? It's not the Republican governor's fault that people are coming across the border. It's our federal government, led by House Democrats and led by Joe Biden. When the Republican governors stop seeing people come across the border, I think that's when they'll rightfully stop sending migrants north. Until that happens, we're not going to see a stop. So as a New Yorker, look, I want Eric Adams to get federal money for this problem. I don't want to pay for it myself. But I also think he should be out there with other big city mayors, Governor Pritzker, even for Pritzker from Illinois and elsewhere, calling on the federal government to stop the flow of this migration crisis.
Absolutely. It's also a national security crisis. I mean, this is just unbelievable. Here's a quote from a veteran who lives in that area. His name is Bill Healy. He's 73. He told the Daily Mail, first of all, they are not migrants. That is what they are calling them, but they are illegal aliens. 100 years ago, people are talking about the legal way that they came here through Ellis Island, run by the Army Medical Corps. So you came through America. Here you had to have your papers together. You had to have your sponsors. You couldn't just walk in here. He is doing what he is being told by Washington, talking about Adams. It is all being dictated, and we don't even know who is running the White House. Susan Rice? Love this guy.
Look, chances are if you live in that part of the Bronx, your family did come here as an immigrant from the Caribbean or from an African country or from somewhere on earth, and you came here legally. And even you don't want to see these type of tent cities pop up in your neighborhood. I hope the Democratic Party takes pause from this. I hope they do some reflection, and I hope they realize the border is really where the problem starts.
I know that district is just really quickly, I know that district is very blue. Will AOC feel the political heat for her role in creating this in her own district?
I doubt it. That district is so blue that she's probably safe there. But
well, then I don't feel sorry for them. Joe Borelli.
Thank you.
Thank you.